Hello. Alright, today we're going to do some balayage, some self-balayage. My name is Teresa Ornelas and I own the Paradox Parlor here in Manteca, California. I am an American Board Certified Hair Color Specialist and Certified Group Fitness Instructor. The concept here is to help you look good and feel good on the inside and out, and I provide hair color education based on theory of how hair lightens, working with color theory, undertones, neutralizing, enhancing, completely changing, but right now my own hair needs some help. So what you can see is it's short, and I do have a lot of nature's highlights that I do a bump on to make the texture and the porosity more equal. And it's been, oh my gosh, was that like a year since my last highlight? And I've just been doing the base bump and then toning, and then in the last few months running the business got so hectic that I stopped toning. So this is just like all my natural raw underlying pigment fully exposed. And what I'm going to do today is bring back some pre-lightened pieces so that I can get back to being like a really cool indigo blue. I miss my indigo blue. You wouldn't know I was ever so much fun. Kind of basic right now. So I've got my product mixed up. I'm working with, normally I wouldn't have mixed it so early because it's going to be not at its full strength after 15 minutes. It's already lost 25% of its original potency. But as you can see, my hair is already considerably light, and to go where I want it to go, it's okay that it's not at original full strength of 30 volume. If anyone's curious, the products I used are Pro Rituals Blue Light, 2 ounces, mixed with 4 ounces of Pro Rituals or Sally Beauty 10 volume. I'm sorry, not 10 volume, 30 volume. And then I did, I believe, 2 teaspoons of powdered kaolin clay, and then I did a teaspoon of coconut oil and mixed that all together. It's probably been sitting for about 15 minutes, like I said. And I'm going to start freehand painting this into my hair. And it's going to be messy. I'm going to look like a cupcake, and it's going to be all good when it's all done. Many, many hours from now. So who knows how much we'll get into on the video here. Let me go ahead and get myself draped for the messy process that is about to come. And how was your day? Are you excited to go ahead and get into some secrets on how to balayage? I have my foils out also because sometimes I do like to put some pieces encased in foil so that I can get an even lighter color, because the foil helps to conduct the heat and keeps the product moist from drying out. So traditionally, you start in the area that you want to get lightest first, but just so that you can see the sectioning process, I'm going through and I'm going very, very quickly. This is awesome because normally when I section, I'm very OCD and like very, very precise. So the fact that, well, that's a cute look, right? So the fact that I am able to let go of some of my OCD is amazing. And I think that shows growth when any person, you included, can let go of some of your OCDs and try things a different way. We get locked into doing things in our life and our career the same way just because that's how we've always done it, and that doesn't necessarily make it good for us. It's just secure because it's familiar. And I'm all about trying things that are new, provided there's some kind of like real deal background evidence that shows it probably is beneficial than, you know, what I was doing before. And if I can't find evidence of that, then I don't want to participate. And that's kind of how, you know, my philosophy is in a lot of things in life. It's a good look. All right, and we're gonna go through the back. And I think I'm pretty okay. So I'm just gonna check for moderate balance. Yeah, they were good. All right. I'm going to start in the front here, and I believe I want my little clippity. Here we go. All right, the time is 6 minutes to 1. Let's see what we can do about creating a nice little look. Let's get closer. So when you're working your balayage on yourself, you really have to practice having control over the product on your hair and blending it very carefully close to the scalp, or if you want, farther away. But the idea is that the product should not saturate at a glob close to the demarcation line, which means the spot where you want the product to stop. Okay? So load your product on your brush, and then I do something called dry brushing, where I just very carefully start taking it closer to the area that I want it to eventually blend out toward. And just keep flicking and feathering through it and saturating through the lower portion. The towel is kept nearby because you're going to need to constantly be cleaning your hands so that as you grab your pieces, you're not dirtying the surrounding hairs that you don't want lightened. Because if you lighten everything, then there's no contrast. And the point around the hairline that I am creating for my own look is heavy areas of lightened hair that blend carefully toward the scalp so that the demarcation line is very, very scattered, very up and down. And then as I get farther through the hair toward the back of my head, I will start incorporating like even more contrast and less overall lightening through the ends. That way I have more dark pieces going throughout. Right now, I just like the face framing effect of having a heavier saturation of lightened hair, especially since right in these areas I have a lot of nature's highlights. And the previous product I was using, even though I didn't use green, as it faded out, my hair was green. Very, very unfortunate. So I'm back to my other line that I prefer, that doesn't turn the hair green. And it's a direct dye line, yes. I'm just kind of grab it all together. That's my framing piece there. And then we'll come through, clean the brush, and we shall do the same thing on the other side. So provided you want the color to look good and equal on both sides, you should be working very fast to complete both sides at the same time, or do a little section of each and alternate. Otherwise, you're going to have some color that doesn't process the same. And I need one more flat clip. So these pieces around the front you do really need to be careful with, because they're very noticeable if they're done in a way that is chunky, streaky, banded. So really pay attention to that blending. I mean, it can be fixed, but it's just more time consuming. You want to get it done correct the first time. So if you're not familiar with working with professional products, or products, that are semi-professional from the beauty store down the street, I advise you not to do this, because if you have really dark hair or damaged hair, or there's a lot of buildup of other products and henna and whatnot on your hair, you're just gonna make a mess. This is really an advanced way of working with your hair to create a look. I'm not saying that like regular people at home can't do it. I'm just saying that if you've never done it before, or if you've done it and had like bad results, this isn't something you want to do and take lightly, because they are chemicals, and if it's done wrong, you can melt your hair off. It's called a chemical haircut. You know you've seen it before on all YouTube videos. It's sad, and it also burns your own skin, and it's not a good thing. Alright, we're just going to continue all the way around the face. And I think ultimately what I'm going to do with this video is, like, once it's all done, I'm going to chop it up and fast forward and edit it. That way, like, it will be so much easier to watch the process, right? Like, it'll be just a couple minutes versus hours. But those of you who are here to watch it for the first time, thank you. Thank you for checking it out. If you have any questions, you want some feedback, you have some troubleshooting problems, let me know. Just send me a message, okay? So the key to having really good looking balayage is taking sections that are small enough for you to control. Some people work in very large sections. That's not wrong. Keyword is small enough for you to control. If you can control something big and get really good results, awesome. But most people need something smaller, because as you see, the hair tends to fall out, fly about. And again, if you take very large sections, it's hard to get that really nice, smooth, buttery blend where the color fades into the other color, particularly if it's at your scalp. Also pay attention to where you grab your hair, how you paint it on, and the direction that you style your hair and part your hair, things like that. That's all going to play a part in how it looks in the end. can already see we're getting some nice lightening. Get rid of that icky yellow tone. I'm just going to drop my sides and continue working now, taking slightly larger sections. Working on a diagonal toward my face. And then slicing diagonally again into that. And then see how I can't see my section? That's got to come out of the way. There we go. So then I pull it up again, and now here's the secrets. See how I have all this massive over direction occurring? I'm over directing the hair away from the floor. I have multiple partings that are over directing the hair away from its natural fall line. Going in and just a nice dry brushing. Check your backside, make sure it's not product heavy. Give it a little dry brush underneath. Fully saturate the lower portion of that section. Dry brush down again, make sure that it's completely saturated. Then go back in, and secret tip again happening right now. See how I'm loading it up a little bit higher with a little bit more product? Once I saturated the areas I wanted and dry brushed the areas I wanted, the hair is prepped to absorb the product and hold it better and start lightening. So then I go in, do that, determine if I like it or if I need a little bit more, a little higher up. Push it right through. Use your eyes and determine if you think you're going to like the way it looks when it's processed. The more product you have applied and it's basic, right? But not everyone knows this. So if you're an experienced hairstylist or someone who knows what they're doing, just hold your horses and relax a little bit. Just like I tell my 11-year-old and my 14-year-old with each other when they're impatient, dealing with each other, or when they're dealing with their 5-year-old sister. You know, everyone's at a different part of their learning game, and you know, you've got to respect everyone and their process and the fact that they are trying to learn, and then respect the mentors, not just me, but like people in general who are trying to help these people. You know, it's hard to ask for help, and it's hard to put yourself out there and let people know that you're here to help them, because on both sides, other people who aren't as serious, other people who aren't so ready, you know, they start criticizing and making fun of others or saying mean things, and it's really not right. There's enough for all, and I think that we should be more supportive of each other. So clearly I want a heavier, lightened section above my ear, closer to the scalp, closer to the face. Why? I like the way it looks. 2, I like the way my hair texture feels when it's a little bit more bleachy. I don't like when it's like super virgin natural. It just doesn't behave quite so well, and some of you might agree with me, right? You have better hair days when you get a little bit of what I like to call controlled damage in the hair. A little bit better volume. All right. So what I'm doing is, obviously I'm grabbing all the hair and working with it, but remember, I'm fading different spots closer to the scalp than others. And as I start taking larger sections, some sections are not fully saturated underneath as much as others are. And when the hair is all washed and blended, it's going to play a big part in the final result. Because as those layers of hair that are currently compressed with product open up and the air gets into them, when the hair has been washed, dried, and styled, then you're going to see all these variations in the the areas that the product saturated the hair strand shaft. So the underside dry brushing is really important. Again, it helps clean up yucky lines, product globs, more saturation. Just watch where and how you pull that saturation up on the underside. Alright, so what I'm doing now is I'm going to finish, I think I'm done there, maybe a little section here at the front, and then I'll finish onto the other side of my head. Then I'm going to proceed to the top section that's right up here, and then I'll work to the back. Let it process, rinse it out, and determine what series of toners I'm going to need to put on my hair. And yes, I did say series because typically it takes 2 toners to get it right and fully stained and properly saturated to get the look I want. And in some cases you have to neutralize unwanted undertones before you can even put your final desired color on, right? You don't want to create mud on the hair. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, then you need to expand your knowledge on color theory, and I would love, 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 love to help you with that. So send me a message if you don't even understand what I just said there, but you want to. The music in the background, if anyone's wondering, is Pandora. And I put on a station called Weather Tunes. That's the name of a group. And seems like it's the only station really that YouTube or Instagram doesn't bing me, for having like copyright infringement. I'm not selling anything right now. If anything, I'm promoting people and their music. So you should be happy, right? Because like one of my videos, my most popular video, has over 300,000 views. And let me tell you, if I had a product or a brand that had, the ability to get in front of that many people, I'd be all about it. I wouldn't be all mad at people claiming copyright infringement. I'd be like, please play my music. Especially if that person's willing to link it up. I'll link it up. If anyone wants me to link up to you and you've got something cool and you want to share it with the world, let's work together. I'll help promote you if your stuff doesn't suck. Win-win, right? We promote each other to get ahead. So the thing with the open air balayage is because it's open air, it starts to dry out, right? And once it dries out, it's dying, it's dead. When it's dry, the product's dead. So that's why certain areas get reapplied. Now, here's the secret. Well, I don't think it's a secret, but a lot of people don't know this. And that's why I'm so sad when I see people grabbing crazy strong volumes of peroxide. Bleach will lighten hair. Did you know bleach will lighten hair with water alone, not just peroxide only? That's true. So if you just need a minor color correction for let's say you just colored your hair and it went way too dark and you're like, oh my gosh, I just need to lighten it up. You can mix powdered bleach with water and put it on, and it will take the edge off the color. It's not a perfect fail-safe color correction, but sometimes it's perfect. It just takes the hair just an edge off. Or if you have blonde hair and you overtoned it and it's looking a little green or silvery, you mix your powder bleach with water, apply it on the damp hair, and it erases the harsh extra overtone. Follow with conditioning and your regular toner if you need. So with that's why bleach has to be kept dry, because it will activate itself with moisture from the air. So knowing this, we know that it's a very strong product on its own. So then what does the peroxide do? The peroxide goes in and it increases the product's ability to do its job effectively and quickly, right? So if you grab a higher volume of peroxide thinking, oh, this is going to be great, I'm going to get super blonde super fast, Yes, that is true. However, the faster you lighten hair, it's actually worse on the condition of your hair. It's going to look worse, it's going to feel worse. And the 10 volume and 40 volume will bleach hair and reach almost nearly the same result, but the 40 volume will do it much, much faster than the 10 volume. But let me tell you, if your hair is already in a compromised position and you're pushing its integrity by wanting to bleach it, you shouldn't be bleaching it fast with strong volumes of peroxide. You should be going slow, let it process at room temperature, and be really careful with that. You don't want to burn your hair off. Ooh, these are new gloves. They are so tight. I'm losing circulation in my pinky. Does anyone ever have that problem? I like my gloves tight though, you know? I don't like sloppy work when I'm working. And yes, I am taking much smaller, skinnier sections on this side than I did on the opposite side. The other side was much wider panels that were like the whole width of the section, and this one I'm doing skinnier pieces. Why? I like asymmetry, and I'm going to show you the difference also of what occurs when you do it one way versus the other way. The differences sometimes are major, sometimes they're minor. Again, it's all depending on how your hand applies the product. And that's why this is such an awesome technique, because it's completely customizable. You just have to learn how to get control over your product, your tension, the hair, and what your eye can create. Because if you can imagine it and then create the formula, follow the science, it becomes predictable that you will get what you wanted. All right. And that goes for more than just getting hair done. All right, so that's done. Put that back. We're gonna finish some up here on the top. Get that out of the way. All right. My sections are getting a little jumbly messy. Fix them. All right, I'll reclip this back. I think I just clipped, or broke that clip. I squeezed it a little too hard. All right, let's work the top. So like right here, you can see I have a lot of nature's highlights. But from past color, they just don't look as clean as I'd like them to. So I'm gonna go ahead and clean them up. They're also very resistant to direct dye. That's why the base bump was important. And this is important. The base bump one, it takes my natural dark hair, which I would say is like a level 3. And it softens it up to the warm brown that you see. And it makes the white hairs in between more blended. Like you see them, but it's just not as harsh when everything grows out. and it makes the base in between the highlights just a little bit more complementary, a little bit more colored friendly, a little less ashy, right? So again, the dry brushing secret technique here is once you've put in your product and you've saturated where you want, you start squeezing it out and then using your brush that's pretty free of product at the tip to continue to feather it down in a way. Then over here, like with this one, I'm going to keep it lower. That way I have a more rooty, darker contrast section. And then because of how I part my hair, it's going to be pretty neat. It'll go to both sides nicely because it's kind of centrally located. And again, I'm dry brushing it close to the scalp just to make sure there's no banding, and then focusing on the edges and the lower section for saturation. So again, you can see that I'm working on like a diagonal compared to like my head. It's not vertical in position, it's slightly diagonal. Again, rough placement. And I used to be like the queen of OCD, having to have everything perfectly sectioned and like line drawn with a ruler, right? So if I can get into this and make it look really pretty, you can do it too. It just takes practice, okay? See that tension on the hair? That allows my brush to push into the hair and not lose too many pieces. And if you have a part that you're having trouble getting the adequate saturation that you want, just slice it off. And then go at it again. Who says you can't do that? If your section is being stubborn and you're just like, you know what, I want a bigger focal point, grab it. It will blend in and be great, trust me. Now keep in mind, depending on what color you plan on putting over your base, if you don't get it light enough, it may brown or black out. For example, the indigo blue that I plan on putting on my hair, anywhere where I have more of a coppery caramel color is most likely going to black out. Think about it. On the color wheel, if I take orange and blue and I mix them together, well, what am I going to get? Right? Now, I like that idea, and I know that's going to happen because I've done this a bazillion times before. And that's why I'm doing this highlight right now, so that these areas will be light enough to maintain the indigo blue that I want, and then everything else will black out. And then the cool part, the secret, another secret, is as it fades, then it reappears awesomely blue everywhere that once was blacked out. So I get more life, more length, more wear out of the color. And the technique, the method that I do this in ensures that as the color is fading out, it's going to be a cool fade out, right? It's going to be nice. That's why my clients, when they come in, they say people still think they just got their hair done because it fades so pretty. It's not like me being like talking about myself in a way that's like tooting my own horn. It's just the truth. It's just the truth. It's just how I do my hair. Because I've studied and studied, self-studied and self-studied and self-studied until I had the ability to produce consistent results. Then I started reading more articles and things and learning more science, and it was just like, oh, it validated everything I'd already been practicing. So I'm just reapplying to certain little areas around the face. Remember, as the product dries, it won't be able to lighten the hair anymore. So if you see little dry pockets and you're like, oh, you know what? I don't like the color. It's not light enough. You need to remember to go and reapply your lightener in those areas, either right away or you're going to be doing it again later. It's just a fact. And that's okay. That's not like a bad thing. That's like legitimate, like okay. It's very professional to go slow and be like, you know what, we're going to do it right now, and then later if we need to reapply, we'll do that. Remember to dry brush over everything. Because remember, it's going to lighten, but it's going to dry out really fast. And so when you dry brush over an entire section, you're going to create little tiny flecks of lightness, and some spots are going to stay dark, but it's going to create a really nice sense of unity in the tone that's going to start sprinkling all throughout your hair. And that's a bit big. And normally I would continue to remix lightener and keep it nice and fresh and at full strength. But I am not going to do that right now because I'm pretty happy with the way it's lightening and what I'm seeing. And I know what kind of color I'm trying to create, so I think I'll be all right. But I probably will have to wear it longer because it's not at full strength being older. Remember what I was saying earlier? It's past 15 minutes since I mixed it. And after the first 15 minutes, it's at 75% of its original strength. And it will still continue to lighten as long as it stays moist. It's just not going to lighten as fast or have the strength. So this is okay because sometimes you need, at the end of your highlight, you're at the shampoo bowl. Again, remember how I said you can use bleach and water to adjust color that went a little too dark? Well, if you have a lot of leftover bleach from your highlight, just save it because you might need it again. You might need a little extra weak lightener, a weak formula, right? To adjust your tone or to do a base bump, base break. Base bump is only like a half level to a full level lighter than natural. A base break is more than that, more than one level lighter, but yet it's not as light as like highlighting your hair. You're not overexposing undertones that will become difficult to control with a translucent toner, right? But when you start going past the break and you get tones that are really wild and warm, that's when you have to bring out like a strong toner or a bleach again. Okay, that's something totally different. But yeah, but for me, with the hair that I'm going for, I've got kind of like, I guess maybe a galaxy kind of feeling in mind, but staying with the blues and purples, the darks, the blacks. I know it's summer. I just like the way it looks. So now I've switched it up, and on this side I'm doing some bigger panels like I was doing on the other side, and I'll probably do the opposite on the other side just because it's fun. Depending on which way I wear my hair parting, with the way my length is right now, the color will look different slightly, and that's what I like. I like color that lives. It lives in the hair, it breathes, it moves. It's different, right? Just like you live, you breathe, you move. You're not exactly the same every day. You're a little different. You should have hair that's a little different too. So now I'm just gonna pinch off the ends of that section and saturate them up a bit higher. And then I'll re-grab it and dry brush it. Grab all of the hair that was in that area. This way the tips, right? The tips of the hair that I didn't highlight will become slightly incorporated. We're good here. No, I got the underside to do. Now I'm gonna skip to that. I was gonna do the top, but I'm gonna do the underside because it's pretty dark. And I'm going to just kind of pinch it into the ends. Again, I know that this lightener at the age it's been since I mixed it is not particularly strong enough to create blonde at this point, especially on these pieces. But it is going to create a difference in the texture, so the porosity will change the hair, right? It will be changed from the lightener. And so when I put the blues on it, I'll get a better blue-black, a longer lasting blue-black. Because again, it's just not been highlighted in a long time. Now again, you can see my fingers are fairly clean through the ends. And I'm just gonna go through underneath and just kind of pinch and massage this area, being careful not to push and smudge into the scalp. Kind of pinch it apart, open it up. Okay, now that I'm done there, I'm going to drop down another section that's clipped up. Cut that in half right there with my fingers. Flip it out of the way and do the same thing again. I'm going to take some little bits on my fingertips and just pinch it through right there on each side. And again, making sure my fingers aren't terribly saturated, they're not messy, there's nothing dripping. I'm going to go into the middle section, pinch off a little piece, saturate it through the tips, just pinch it into the tips, and then just kind of split it. When I'm all done saturating these little sections, I'm going to take my dry brush that's just slightly loaded with lightener and just start dry brushing the hair. And it will act kind of like a comb and help distribute pieces and ensure that there's no like heavy spots. So what that looks like is you get your brush, and then you're just going to start dry brushing, right? Hold with tension. Dry brushing the underside. Any areas where I'm like, you know what, I just feel like the hair is too dry, I can go right back in and pinch the tips. Clean my brush and dry brush again. Alright, just kind of go through again with my fingers that are dry, pinching and massaging but not smushing to the scalp. Check behind the ear. I'm going to take that and just pinch a little bit more right in this section. Depending on how you wear your hair, pay attention to the areas at the temple, the ears, and just behind the ear and around the ear, because a lot of hairstyles, these are very, very important focal points, and the hair, you don't want to have like dark spots or maybe too light of a spot. So if you already know what to look for in those spots, you will be aware, and you won't be surprised, you know, many hours later that you missed a key focal point on someone's hair. Because you know, some colors take hours to create, and if you miss a key spot, it doesn't matter how big or small that spot is, it still takes hours to fix it. Alright. So, pretty good with that. Now we're going to drop that section that I cut in half and continue to work our way up. And I still got this section too. Man, I got a lot of hair, don't I? Alright. So we've been going for 50 minutes. That was a long time, I know. I'm a slow stylist, what can I say? too much. Well, it looks like New Jersey's calling me. I don't know anyone in New Jersey though. And my hands are covered in bleach, so I can't get to the phone.
Alright, at this point, everything is dry on the ends, on the bottom, and in the front. So I'm just going to take my very, very old lightener, which is now over an hour old, almost an hour and a half old. But remember, it still has some ability to lighten, so the areas that are the lightest are going to be affected. The areas that are the darkest will still be affected, but not as much. And since I'm trying to brighten up these areas to get more pop, they need to stay wet and active. I'll be rinsing very, very soon.
I'm going to clean it. Still cleaning. All right, I'm impatient. I'm gonna wash it. The glue dryer. Here it is. Alright, before I tone it, I gotta dry it. It's messy, right? So it's nothing spectacular at the moment, unless you know what you're looking at. But you can see there's like a nice soft blending of dark to light, and now I can tone it. Colors, what colors am I going to do on my hair? You want to come with me? Let's go. Oh, I'm dropping things. Turning around. Towels. Color. Hello. All right. And what else? Color, color, color. Yes. Okay? Yes. That's where we're going. Which ones, though? Oh, yeah. This is my salon / studio / pole fitness center. Oh, there goes the mount. Yes, I did say pole fitness. Watch. What? Yes, I did. I did. Okay. Let me put the mount back on. I just pulled it off. I look crazy today. Like, a lot of the times, right? It's normal. Okay, let's see. What color? Maybe I'll have you all turn around and face the back of the shop. You can see my office in the back. When I think I put papers on the wall. See them? Lots and lots of papers. All right, let's fix this lion's mane. We're gonna need some blue. We're gonna need indigo, some blue. I really don't know what color I want to do. Honestly, I just don't want an orange and gold and like basic highlight look. So I am going to have some fun. I have no idea. I'm just having one of those days, you know? I'm just having a day, a crazy day. And I got new colors. I totally forgot. Why am I limiting myself to just my normal colors? I got new colors to experiment with. All right, let's clean it up a bit. I don't need this stuff out. I do need bowls, hair color bowls. I need a root bowl. I need an ends bowl. I need miscellaneous bowl. My base color, I'm going indigo. Cobalt, sky. I'm gonna go with my traditional blue on the scalp. I am weighing my color. You know what? You can't even see me. I need to just totally change the direction of the mount. There, now, right? I think you can see me. Yeah. Woohoo! Okay. I'm going to close the bathroom door. Okay, now you can see me better. Okay. So I'm weighing it out. Color, my new growth, scalp zone 1. We're going to put on, oh, you know what? You're kind of crooked. That's my sewing table in the back. Because I sew. Yes, I know. I do a lot. All right. We're going to do 1 ounce of blue, intense blue. I kind of want a nice deep dark indigo-y. Let's do 0.2 ounces of red. Where's my notes? We should be writing notes. You know that? 1 ounce blue. 20 ounce red. Purple and orange. I got orange on my hair. That's perfect. And I'm going to add in an ounce of conditioner. Because the colors are really concentrated. And so I'm still going to get really good coverage. So I'm going to put number 1, number 2 formula. Let's see. This is going on the roots. Give it a little mixy doodah. I am so excited to have my color back on my hair. I'm going to feel like a superhero again. You know when you have that right color on, everything in your world changes. And when it's something that's right next to your face and you see it every time you look in the mirror, or people see it every time they see you, it's almost, you know, it's your identity. So it's really important that you like yourself and your hair and what's going on. All right. I am also going to add in a little bit of water to loosen up the mixture just a little bit more. Okay, I added in 1 ounce of water. And now I can mix this thoroughly. Carefully, it's going to be a little bit more splashy, liquidy until the water is fully blended in with the conditioner and the color. Could you do this completely straight, no conditioner, no water? Yes. What would be the difference? You're going to go through a lot more product. It's going to be a lot more expensive. And 2, I really feel that you're going to get a great look this way. Sometimes people almost feel like it's too dark if they don't dilute it. Like if you want that glowing look, like really dark and glowing, you got to dilute it just a little bit. Unless you want that straight, dark, blue, black that stains your skin forever, right? You know. All right, so this is my roots. I kind of want to put in some kind of rose color. I do. I'm just concerned that when I start washing it at home, it's going to change dramatically. But, you know, I'm all right with that. So I'm just going to go with it. I'm going to go with 0.4 of the red. And yeah. I'm going to put in this new one that I've got. It's a charcoal gel mixer. Let's see what it does to the red. I'm always interested to see what the base tone of other companies' charcoals are. You know, some of them are super blue, and I like that. I want a nice, true charcoal. Should be more gray, right? Not blue. That's a pretty cool color. Add in a little bit more. And I like what the charcoal does to this red. it is making it more of a muted kind of steel red color instead of like a bright red, like a lipstick red. I kind of want to add some fluorescent pop to it. So I'm going to experiment with the pink gel. And I just put it on my floor. So note to self, the gels, as soon as you pop them open, literally fall out of the tube on your floor. And my floor is instantly stained. I will be trying to get that out later. So be careful with the Scruples Urban Shock Brights in the metal tube. The gels are so liquidy, they just fall out of the hole instantly. And then the Urban Shock in the plastic tube, the color craze is a lot thicker and it doesn't fall out. Okay, so I'm mixing those all up in my bowl. And I just did like a little bit. I didn't do a huge amount of that red. Let's see. Let's put it back in the boxes. The other thing is the tubes, the Urban Shock Brights are all the same looking. They all look the same, which is pretty much a bummer. You have to read this tiny print on the back to determine what color it is. You know, the boxes show the color, but the tubes don't. So I kind of am bummed about that. Whereas like their plastic, soft, squishy tubes clearly show the color on the outside and they're shipped just like this. So there's a difference. You get more color. Like, you know, you've got 3.4 ounces, you've got 2.5 ounces. This is more opaque coverage. This is more translucent. This is like a thick cream. This is a very liquidy, loose gel. So if I was Scruples Urban Shocks, I would find a way to put the color more clearly on the tube. It makes storage a lot easier. I'll try not to make a mess, but I am. Alright, so I've got my blue base. I got my pink thing there. And charcoal. I am curious to see what the charcoal does just straight on hair. So I'm going to experiment with a little bit of charcoal in my hair. I don't know if I'm going to regret it. I think I'm going to put some purple on that. Teal. I'm going to do some teal with the charcoal in the cream. So you can mix and match the shades between the two lines. They do say that is okay. And I love that because I am all about mixing the shades up to create a custom look. And I do love bright colors. I really appreciate the fact they brought out a charcoal mixer. All right, where are my gloves? It's time to put color on. Color, color, color. I'm gonna color my hair. It's gonna be good. Dun, 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 dun. Alrighty, so what I'm going to do first is color all the scalp, on scalp, then I'll start painting through the ends. Let's move again. Oh, I need to do my makeup, man, it looks wrecked. Alright, back to the hair station. Oh, and You want to know something awesome? See that slug? Right there. I'm going to show you something. My sister drew it. She has this thing for like drawing slugs as like people and other animals, and this is a slug on a pole fitness slug, and she did one where it's a slug with the head of a chicken. Or actually, I'm sorry, I have it backwards. It's a chicken with the head of a slug, and that's on my website, and it's available as stickers, a skater skirt. I think they have it on a raglan, black sleeve, white shirt, and it's on a bag. Yeah, so I'm experimenting with fun stuff, right? So if you want it, go to theparadoxparlor.com, Parlour.com. Anyways, back to hair. Back to hair. Yeah, I'm just experimenting with a lot of things right now because I can. So I do. All right. So the fan is on, blowing my hair everywhere. That's all right. Oh, I need one more towel for my hands. Keep them clean, towel. And some clips. My hair is wild, right? Alright, let's see, my battery power is at about 15%, so if the phone dies before you get to see the finished result, you're gonna have to check back with me, okay? Alright, cleanup time again. It's gonna be time to eat too. I'm getting hungry. It's been 2 hours and 26 minutes. Alright, I'm gonna try and find my plug. My phone's about to die. Found it. And the reposition a little lower to reach the outlet. Ta-da! Oh look, I forgot to plug in the lights. The spotlights. I don't know if you can see them, but they're there. Okay. It's time to rinse in just a moment. All right, let's rinse. Sick. Ready? What? Oh, now it's out of focus. What? Sick, right? And then watch this. When I flip it, what do you think? You like it? Who wants to see it outside? Let's go. Oh shoot, before it goes, I got 2%. Okay, we can't go outside. I'll have to do that later. I don't want this to die. Alright, so anyways, you can tell it turned out really cool. And I don't even have my makeup done or all dressed up, but you'll see me again later. So check back. If you haven't subscribed already, please subscribe. And I look forward to elevating your status by providing you with cool experiences to help you look good and feel good on the inside and out. Take care. Oh yeah, who am I? I'm Teresa Ornelas, and I own the Paradox Parlor in Manteca, California. Bye.